Now that we have our initial schema set up, let's go ahead and create the models. So what we'll want to do here is go into our app, models, create a new file, and this one we'll call a restaurant base, save it as restaurant.rb, create another file, call it review. First we'll define it here, and then our last one, which is category. Great. And we can close out of these other windows here. So let's think about this for a little bit. When we have a restaurant model, how is it related to all of these other models? Well, one restaurant can have many reviews, right? Because you have a restaurant and folks can post as many reviews as they like about that one restaurant, so it has many reviews. It also belongs to a category because you're only going to have one category per restaurant, but a category can have many restaurants. So let's take a look at what we'll do here in the review model here. Say it belongs to a restaurant, and then in the category it also has many restaurants. Let's spell that correctly. So, category has many restaurants, a review belongs to a restaurant, and then for the restaurant it has many reviews and belongs to a category. So I think that's pretty good for now. We could also add a few extra things, some validations in here, but I think this will do for now for all of the relations. And so now that we have those set up, if you remember, we have just this home page that really is just out of the box default home page that Rails provides us. So let's create our controllers. So in here, class restaurants controller application controller. Underscore controller.rb. Create another one, call it reviews controller. Controller.rb. Now let's call it categories controller. I spelled it wrong here, so save it. And in order to change that home page, I always like changing the home page right in the beginning so that I can take a look at what I'm doing in the browser. So in our routes folder, what we can do here is let's just get rid of all of these comments. Say route path to restaurants and the index action. So this is essentially setting our home page. Now if we do a refresh, you'll see that there is no index that can be found in the restaurants controller. So we will go into the restaurants controller that we created. I'll go back to our home page or our application in the browser, do a refresh. It still doesn't work. Call it action. Not sure why I did that. I'll do a refresh. And, keep spelling everything wrong. Do a save. There you go. Now it's telling us we don't have a template. So we can go into our views here, and I like separating all of the views by their model. So we'll say restaurant and a new file, just call it index.html.erb. Now if we do refresh, we'll get our page, the page of this index RB file, ERB file. We can test that by saying hello world. There. So we changed our home page, we added our controllers and our relations, added some views here, and if we'd like, we can continue adding the rest of the views here, the folders at least. What is it? Category. Right? And so we were able to do all of that in a very succinct amount of time, because the Rails framework is good enough where we can do all of this very, very quickly. So in our next video, what we're going to cover is how to make this home page look prettier and get kind of our basic structure, our basic website format design up and running in our application.